Hello, hello, and welcome. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of Networking Know-How. If we haven't connected yet, I'm Laura Morlando, the Stress Commando, and I am the founder and CEO of Down and Dirty Networking. And today we are in for a really special treat. I have two very special guests that I think you saw in the intro slide, and we're going to be able to talk to this tactical team trio, and you're going to gain some exclusive strategies that will help you love meetings. Truly, most people dread meetings. If you dread meetings and you're watching live or you're watching on replay, get up and chat. Let me know if you dread meetings. I know many of you, and I know I dread having a meeting for the sake of a meeting. It just drives me nuts. But we're going to talk about some exclusive strategies from this tactical team trio, how you can actually enjoy a meeting and be productive. So how does that actually work? And you're going to learn some amazing strategies on how leveraging relational networking can help you learn and skyrocket your professional career, both in what you're learning and in your upskill. That's what I was looking for, how to upskill by leveraging relational networking. Oh, I see some people watching live. I'm so glad you're here. So first up, what is relational networking? So relational networking is all about learning from and about someone to have a meaningful conversation to build a lasting and authentic relationship. And here at Down and Dirty Networking, we are a community that is based 100% on relational networking. And so I'm bringing up two of our team members. So we make up the tactical team trio. And I'm going to be sharing with you our expertise, their expertise, and feel free to get up and chat and ask some questions. We will go back and reply to anything, even if you're watching on replay. So without further ado, let me bring up our behind the scenes rock star, Meredith Miller. And let me bring up our social media maven, Meg Bell. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you are here. And let me just say publicly, we could not do this project of Down and Dirty Networking without the two of you. I could not do that. And so I deeply appreciate both of you for all of the support, the love, the energy, and just the kindness in the way that you approach your work and helping us promote relational networking inside our community and outside to everybody else. So thank you guys so very much for all of your hard work. I deeply appreciate you. Love and adore both of you so much. So thanks for joining me today. So I thank you for that. So first up, I'm curious, what was your first, experience with relational networking? Because this might be new for somebody that's watching. They might be thinking, networking, isn't it about, hi, my name is, buy my stuff, exchange leads, more like what we know traditionally or from a transaction standpoint. So would love to hear your take on your experience with relational networking, and then we'll continue the conversation. So Meredith, because I see you up first, why don't you go ahead and take the lead and answer that for us?
Sure. So the Down and Dirty Networking was my first experience with relational networking. I had done previous more traditional networking groups before where it's based upon you had to bring a certain amount of people in, you had to do a certain amount of leads, and it was mainly a speaker, and it was a lot of repetition of 30-second commercials where you know everyone's tagline. And so it was, whereas you did form some relationships, it was not usually super deep relationships. And so coming into Down and Dirty Networking and trying that out, it was a very different experience than I was expecting, because that's what I had been used to for years, was the traditional aspect. And so it was totally different than what I was expecting. And that there wasn't any of that stuff. It wasn't me trying to protect myself from being pitched or hit on, because that happens sometimes too in traditional spaces. And so this was definitely a breath of fresh air, because it was actually being able to talk about things that were obstacles, like in my business, and talk about them with other people, and them actually caring and wanting to help try to solve that problem, or at least listening and maybe like opening a different door or a different thought process that I hadn't thought of before.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad we were able to show you something different. I love that. Meg, how would you answer that? What was your experience with relational networking?
Well, kind of like Meredith, I'd never heard of it before. Who had? It was, you knew the word networking.
Laura.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I created the term.
It's just you created it. I hope you had heard of
it. So the one person. But then, so you go to events and you network. Well, what is that? It's, hi, how are you? This is what I do. What can I do for you? What can you do for me? It was kind of, that's what networking meant to me. I came out of the corporate world where you don't think that you're networking there, but you do. You go into a meeting, it's like, hi, this is what I do. Okay, let's talk about whatever it is. And you don't really get to know who these people are that you're meeting. Well, getting into Down and Dirty networking, you learn about this relational networking, which is, let's build some relationships with these people. And then you actually decide from that relationship, do I want to work with this person? Do I want to meet with this person? Do I want to do business with this person? It's finding that foundation of building a relationship that's been just an amazing eye-opening thing within Down and Dirty networking. I'm so glad I've become accustomed to it, or not accustomed maybe, but the right word, but diving into it, I suppose.
I love that. And I appreciate you diving into it. It's something that I had taught in the corporate space and I had taught in the entrepreneur space. And that was the other kind of aspect. And Maggie kind of touched on it. Networking is always seen as something that entrepreneurs or people in sales and marketing do, because it's very lead generation. Or if you're in the corporate space, you're doing it internally, where most people think it's schmoozing or your elevator pitch to get assigned to a special project or get a promotion or be able to ask for a raise. But again, it's still transactional. You're still looking for something. And what I started realizing, there really is another way of doing it, and it's much more fun. I don't know about either of you, but networking was really a chore. It was, I felt so inauthentic with all of the pitch slapping that I was doing, because that's what I was told to do. So I was obedient and I did what I was told to do, but it felt gross. It didn't feel good. But I did it. And then I didn't like receiving it. And so being able to create a different way was much more, like I think Meredith, you said, refreshing. And so when it came time for me to decide, all these years of knowledge, what do I do with this? Do I do a course? What do I do with this? I realized, you know what? I really need the connection. So if you're watching and you haven't tuned in before, I got diagnosed with 2 autoimmunes and Lyme, and I was pretty much homebound. So all of the out of the house stuff I used to do, out of the office stuff I used to do, I could no longer do. And so I really found myself on that island of alone, which I think most people figured out a couple of years later when the pandemic hit. And so I decided to just create, I decided to create the community. And though I had shared it with a couple of people, hey, I have this idea. And they were like, kind of golf clap. Yeah, Laura, you go. Man, they weren't really going to jump in, but they were being supportive nicely, and quietly. But the minute everyone was locked down, Laura, are you creating that thing?
Exactly. We need to talk to someone.
It's already started. And I was like, oh, I wasn't physically ready to do this yet. So that is how we launched Down and Dirty Networking. There was really a need and a cry for connection, to get off that island of alone. And so that's where it all started. And selfishly, it was a great way for me to connect and leverage the virtual space when I no longer had those connections. So I'm really grateful.
So it was 2020?
2021. So we put it together 2021, 2022. So we're on 2 years. I got to go look at the math. So don't quote me. I may have the math on that wrong. Laura, math is not something to really stop by, but 2020 people came at me and said, listen, we need to really get this going. I hadn't looked at how to do it. I hadn't done any of the basics. It was a concept at that point. And so now I did all the work, which interestingly, as a marketing consultant, all the things that I tell people I did. I was like, okay, now let's create it. What's the thing? And how are we going to do this? And what are we going to call it? And so let's cut the fluff, which is what everyone said. And let's get down to meaningful conversations. So we thought Down and Dirty Networking, it's kind of fun. It's kind of cheeky. It speaks to exactly what we're doing. There's no speakers. There's none of the things that get in the way of having a conversation. Full stop. So that kind of leads into the next question, where, you guys decided to be part of the team members because you liked this concept, but I, definitely needed some help and support. And so Meredith, you were actually the first one that jumped on board to kind of help out. Why don't you kind of walk people through, why you decided to do this and what's been the journey? Because you've been on board for a while. I mean, what have you learned being the behind the scenes rock star that you are, and tell people what you're actually doing on the team.
So I mean, it was kind of interesting because at the time originally, I had approached Laura about kind of like partnering with her on the business, and because I was, really trying to make some extra money, and I liked the concept of what she was doing. And she was like, I mean, I don't know if I'm really wanting to partner with somebody else, but, how about you are involved in the business and I can help teach you some things. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good option as well. And so, because I have my own company that I own with my husband, and so I was like, all right, great. Like I can have a place that I can learn some things from Laura since she's so knowledgeable, and then I can help to apply some of those same concepts in my business. And so that was really for me of why I had even kind of jumped into doing it. And so a lot of what I learned from Laura in doing this is the strategy behind things. Like I like to just hear her talk out loud and think through things, because she always works with the end in mind and then goes backwards. And so I try to do that with my business now of like, okay, now what is the goal of this? Like this sounds great, but is this actually in alignment with, what my personal goals and what my business goals are? And then if that's the case, okay, great. Like now then how do we structure that to get to this goal? And then, you kind of work backwards from there. And so that is a lot of the thinking that I've learned from doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes here that I've then now been able to implement in our business, where now we have like God, family, and serving other people as kind of our alignment for our business. And so now I'm able to say, okay, does this new opportunity really align with spending more time with family, or is this going to take us away from that, even though the money might sound great? So yeah, that's kind of overall what I've learned since I've been doing this.
That's awesome. Well, why don't you share what it is that you have been doing behind the scenes?
Okay, sure. So I don't know if you want to go on to Meg. So right now what I'm doing is I am the newsletters that are coming out, which is called our Networking Boost newsletters. They come out via email if you are subscribed to us on LinkedIn with the newsletter, and then also they get posted on LinkedIn and Facebook as well on the Down and Dirty networking pages. And so I am crafting those and creating little funny memes that go in there and essentially making sure it's aligning to the co-elevate, collaborate, and connect for Down and Dirty networking, for the 3 C's that are part of the culture
Mission.
of
The mission
for the organization. And so I'm doing that. And then I also write the weekly articles that get posted on Facebook and LinkedIn on every Thursday. And so actually, I guess I'll give you my little secret is that basically we're repurposing videos that are coming out, and then I make those into an article. And so I kind of rewrite them, shorten them, make sure it's to the point where we're giving a certain amount of tips and whatnot. And so that's another thing that I've learned is how to repurpose information. So we're not, we're working smarter, not harder. And so, and I've also more honed my writing skills, which is something that I was relatively good at, but I've gotten better and being able to, again, like streamline things, get the point across in a more bulleted manner versus kind of being more flowy with my words, which is what I tend to do, and kind of putting my little jokes in there and stuff. So that's overall what I've been doing. And then what we recently started doing with the articles, when I post them, I was like, hey, it'd be really cool if we had like funny little videos to kind of go with this to like draw people in from, them scrolling through social media. And so I've started doing that now, is like if I think I did one about like a video or a building imploding. And so it was kind of, I forget what the article was about now, but it was something, related to something exploding if you don't deal with it or something like that. And so the little video that went with it is, again, helping to try to stop the scroll, but then it's like a little funny thing because, again, that goes along with our culture here because we like to have fun.
I love that. I love that you're learning something, and I think you're doing great work, and we're always upgrading and always being mindful of where's the stupid, simple solution.
Right.
Simple. Where's the stupid, simple solution? So I absolutely love that. Meg, what about for you? What prompted you to want to be a part of the team, and what are you working on?
So I've known Laura for many, many, many years. So probably 10, 11. So talking with Laura often about my career. So as I mentioned, I've been in the corporate space for 40 plus years. And she knew my weariness with it. And we talked about, well, what do you like to do? I mentioned one time that I like to do social media. I had been doing it for a couple of nonprofit pages and for my husband's business, doing some, posting in Facebook, LinkedIn, and just kind of minor things. And she said, "Hey, how would you like to come play in this space? And you can learn a whole lot more." I was like, "Okay." So
That was easy.
yep. I'm like, okay, sign me up. Gosh, it's been close to a year or more now that Laura brought me in and has been teaching me tremendous things because, and here's the other side of that is I did leave the corporate space. I lived a few months ago, retired. My goal is to start a social media management business for the solopreneur small business. Taking a little break right now, doing the de-stress from, so many years in corporate. So that's what I'm doing right now. But trying to keep up my skills and learn new things along the way. Things that I've learned working here is, so I do the Motivational Monday images. I find the quotes, fun ones that make, that kind of draw us to, like the 3 C's, collaborate, co-elevate, and communicate.
Connect. Yeah. Yeah.
So I find the quotes, make the images. I do those. And I also do I also create the images or some of the postings for the community. There is an online community that's part of Down Under Networking, and I create some things that bring up conversations in that community as well. When I first started working with Laura, I was also learning how to edit some videos, which was really, really fun. That was something new to me, and it kind of opened another door that I thought was quite exciting. So not just being part of learning relational networking, I've been learning a lot of fun skills that I've enjoyed that I hope to carry forward into, my business once I get it going.
That's awesome. And you guys have done great work. And yeah, I mean, the videos, if you go to our YouTube channel, there's probably a video that Meg edited beforehand. Meredith was helping out because we were learning skills. So this is our fun playground to play and practice. And Meg's right. It's there is an online community, and we support the community as best we can to create that conversation and curate the content. So I'm curious, I know our time is short, but I wanted to really give some strategies to the viewer that's watching. And we get together virtually because we don't all live near each other. And so we're a virtual community. We're a virtual tactical team trio that you guys had named what to call us to keep it fun. Why don't you share a little bit how have we been able to utilize relational networking so that we actually love when we get together versus, another meeting. And you're fine to tell me, Laura, actually you're delusional. It really is another meeting. We're not there yet. So you guys can tell me that too. So Meg, I'll actually start with you since I've always started with Meredith. So what would you say to that?
I say start with Meredith. No.
Pass.
No,
Nice.
we have learned a lot about each other and gotten to know each other more, so that actually I speak for me, look forward to when we are able to speak live to each other. Coming from corporate world, we did dread meetings. I mean, you just do. It's like a meeting for a meeting. What are we going to talk about? But when you get to know the people like these 2 ladies here, and we spend time together and we laugh about things and we share jokes and we share funny things and all the happy moments. And it just helps build that foundation that for me, I enjoy working with these ladies tremendously because we know each other and we've gotten to know each other and built that foundation by relational networking.
I love that. Meredith, what about you?
I would say connection is the difference. So I'm gonna whether it's with we don't call them meetings, right? We call them events.
No, we don't. Parties.
Parties. That's right. I forgot. So I think that whether it's with that or whether it's with my exercise group that I work out with, my Bible study group that I lead, it's all about that. I think we always have time where we're like, what's going on with you? Like, what's your kiddo doing at school? Like, hey, remember you told me about, your mom last time, where, what's going on with that? And so it's like even taking those little bits of time to where that might not be the main chunk of what you're doing. Like the main thing is the Bible study or the workout or, what we need to get done in the tactical trio time, but it's still like scattered in there. And that makes all of the difference. And because it's like, that's what people are looking for. And a lot of times what they don't get. And so that for me is a big thing. And then also that Laura, like she said, we are always re-looking at things and she listens. And so at one point, like we were meeting on Zoom like every single week. And then I was like, hey, I think this is a little much. And so, we kind of scaled that back where now we don't meet live on Zoom as often, but we still get these connections where we are able to do videos and talk on Loom and Trello and things like that. So we still are able to have connection, but again, like Laura listened and it was like, all right, well, this is getting to be a little much. And so we were able to scale those things back. So I think that's important as well as to have a leader who actually listens.
Thank you. Well, and I have to say, you guys have been integral because the past year, for anyone who has watched, I've been in caregiving mode with my mom. And so by the time, Meredith brought, this attention, it was starting to feel like a meeting to have things produced. And I was starting to be stretched really thin. So the timing was actually really perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me the space and grace that I needed to kind of refocus. And it doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be something hard. And though we've scaled back meetings, what we have understood is that when we do get together, they're going to be a little bit longer because we're catching up. It just is. It's going to be a little bit longer. So it just depends what you're looking forward to. And I think we talked about that when we scaled back. We had to be aware of the fact that that meant that when we got together, it's not going to be a short, concise period. It's going to have to be a little bit longer to work through some of the things that we're working on. And as long as you're aware of that and you're making a decision, then you just keep moving forward. But I've learned more about you guys with some of the very strategic things that we've done. We had a stint where we were doing kind of a theme for the event and everyone was trying to choose their party. And that was a lot of fun. And then we would turn that into an article. I would write it into an article on Fridays and let people see, hey, this is how we use relational networking in our on our team parties, our tactical team trio time. And I mean, the first thing is change the name to change the energy. Let the team name it, not the leader.
Yeah.
Let the team dictate what needs to happen.
So can I just say that we spent like an hour that meeting trying to name ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah, but now that we have it, I mean, it's yours because you named it. There's ownership in it. And one of the things you will see, here in my lives, and it's all in the videos and the articles, one of the themes is being valued, seen, and heard. And we did a quote yesterday, and we've shared this more than once, that Cigna has deemed loneliness an epidemic. And the study showed people could be in an office surrounded by people. And to use your word, Meredith, they feel zero connection to everybody and they are lonely.
Yep.
Given that this is Suicide Prevention Month and we're going live on 9/11, where everyone is remembering where they were with that tragic event, I remember the disconnect because I was away from my family. My brother was overseas. The disconnect of where is everybody? Is everybody okay? And what I love is that, did you have a support system to get you through it? Did you have the friends that you could talk to move through things? Or even in this last year of caregiving with my mom, and now that as I'm grieving the loss of my mom, I mean, you guys have been integral in that support system. And there are so many people that don't have it. When my father was sick with cancer, I was a lone wolf. I just fucked up and I said, nope, you don't let them see you sweat. I was in corporate. You figure it out.
Yep.
I'm here to tell you, if you're listening to this, that is a horrible idea. And it is very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. And it's setting a horrible example for anybody that you care and love that is watching it around you. And if you happen to be a parent or an aunt or a niece or the influencer of children in any way, shape, or form, you are giving them permission to lead a very unhealthy life. So I learned from my mistake. Do not do that. And it's why I really believe in relational networking and reaching out for help and being open to it and developing people. It's really important, I think, as a leader to develop people. And so I love that we get to have fun and we laugh and we come up with great ideas. So guys, if someone's watching and they've dreaded meetings, they've dreaded networking, maybe they come from that corporate America space, and they're like the people that I talked to when I first was talking to folks about this idea of down and dirty networking, and I would ask their opinion of networking, and the response was, "Ugh." It wasn't a word. It was an ugh, which I suspect is a similar response for a meeting. And so what would you tell them would be like the number one thing that they could do immediately that would get them seeing things differently and getting a different result? Meg, I'll start with you since you're so fresh out of corporate. What's the one thing you think that would be helpful for them to do?
Just talk and listen to people. Because you don't connect on personal level, really. I mean, some people you do, sure. I had friends, some people I connected with even outside of the office community. But it's about listening and getting to know the people. I think that's so important. You're going to work with all these kind of different people, but I think once you get to know that person on a more personal level, it kind of changes the dynamic of how you work together. And that can make a huge difference. Huge. When you're working on a project together, especially a long-term thing. Yeah, you want to know those people. I feel that it's key to know those people.
Oh, that's really great feedback. What do you think, Meredith?
Well, I believe the answer you're looking for is join Down and Dirty Networking.
I will love that answer. That's not what I was looking for, but good answer.
It's like Jeopardy. What is? So
what is Laura thinking?
Exactly, right. Okay. So no, I 100% would say be authentic is my advice, because it's funny. I had actually sent this to Laura that apparently that I think it's Merriam-Webster. They do like a word of the year, and the word of the year for 2024 is authentic. And which is essentially meaning that's like the most, it's very searched. It's very, it's the buzzword, right? And so that, and I love that because that's something that I've worked on a lot over like the last couple of years with myself, is just really more being true to myself, like finding my self-worth and then being authentic with other people. And I think that a lot of times people are so scared to do that. Like they're scared to say something. They're scared to like really let people know who they are. And that's where connection happens. Like you literally cannot connect with somebody if they're always putting up this mask of, okay, this is who I have to be. And so that's what I've realized is essentially you're going to be authentic. You're going to repel some people and you're going to attract some people. Mm-hmm. And the ones you attract are the ones that are supposed to be in your circle or your hula hoop, like we like to say. And then like I said, that's where those connections happen. And that's where the island of alone, that's where you get off that island of alone, because it's finally, you don't have to pretend anymore. Like it's you're confident in that, and then you're confident in the people around you, like lift you up even more.
Oh, I love both of these answers so much. And no, I wasn't fishing for something, but I love that you said that. And when I dive into the word,
you missed it. I was reeling it in.
Yeah, let me go there. So I would say,
I wanted you to get up and like dance.
Yeah, I believe if I could, I would. But I mean, I think when I dove into the definition, like, okay, I've been using this term relational networking. What's a really a definition of it? Because I need to define it. And so when I crafted the definition and put the word authentic into it, so build lasting and authentic, authentic and lasting relationships, I realized there actually is a word that's missing. And I haven't figured out entirely how I'm going to put this in. Authentic, absolutely. Absolutely be authentic. But the difference maker is being genuine. Mm-hmm. That's the difference maker. Because in traditional networking, it's a one-way conversation. I am pitch slapping you. I am looking for a lead. I am not letting you say a word. I'm not coming up for air. I am just going, and I'm going to beat you down with everything I got to say. But when it comes to relational networking, it's a two-way conversation. And it's about making sure you see, hear, and value the other person, which, both of you had talked about. If you're being genuine, you're caring about them. Mm-hmm. You're really concerned about providing value, being a resource, and listening, actively listening. Authentic means you're being authentically you.
Yeah, but genuine I'm not good at.
yeah, that's funny. That's not true, but that's funny.
No,
I mean, the blunt example is you could be authentically brash, come across as authentically a jerk.
Sure.
you're gonna repel everybody. Okay, how about you put some genuine behind that? Frame things a little bit differently, improve the way you communicate, but still deliver the information that you need to deliver, because clearly you're seeing something that needs to be said. And there was someone in my life that was very, very brash, and to the point of like making me be in tears. But this person was genuinely right and always told me what I needed to hear because they cared about me. And when I figured that out, I would not listen to the delivery, and I'd start leaning in and asking questions. Why are you trying to tell me this? And then make decisions based on that, make upgrades based on that. And what I learned in the corporate space, where all of this really started, is I was trying to be known. I was told I was too young. I was the wrong gender, and I was the wrong minority. And so the opportunities were just not there. So I was going to put that mask on that you talk about, Meredith. Just I needed to be there to just be considered. Wow. And they needed me to talk to different departments, and we were getting dinged for not getting our payables paid on time. They were constantly late. And for the company that I worked for, you would forecast what they called your achievement, and we were getting dinged every single quarter because everything was late, and we couldn't figure out why. And we would talk to purchasing. So anyway, we went to all the departments. So this was the genesis of where I say with relational networking, with being authentic, and I'm authentically inquisitive and wanting to find the stupid, simple solution. Be that, but rapid and genuine. And I remember walking into the accounting department and asking the questions, and they were just so like annoyed that I was there. And I tried really hard to be genuine about it and just care. And I just kept coming back. I was interrupting them. So I would, keep coming back. And my boss gave me a lot of latitude. He wanted me to really solve the problem. And so we would say thank you a lot and give them a lot of really thoughtful thank you gifts, because we try to figure out what would be thoughtful, what would be meaningful to them. And so finally they agreed to go to lunch with us. And so we go to lunch and we start talking, and they said something to me. I went, wait. What happens on our invoices? Through the course of a conversation, I realized that because we put data in this one area, it totally threw the payable all off. Started a series of conversations. One minor change, which in our system was it like broke the system to fix it. But once we got it done, we were able to be positive on our cash flow. They loved us because it simplified everything for them. We didn't even realize we were making their job so much harder. Now, that's not a department I normally would work with. And yet, had I not taken the time to figure out how do you do your job, what's your annoyance? What's your challenge? Where are you like, Laura, I hate your invoices. Okay, what do you hate about them? To where I could try and solve the problem and really want to figure it out, versus saying, oh, you guys have to do this. And make it all about me, like a pitch slap. I would have never gotten anywhere. They would have, out of spite, just let my invoices sit. But they didn't. Right. And we ended up having this great working relationship with other departments. Are like, how did you get accounting to love you guys? And I'm like, it was hard work. In hindsight, it was all relational networking. And I have story after story where that happened, and it was the relationships that I built. That was the thread through it all. So I encourage anybody who thinks that it doesn't work, or you're still maybe butting us a little bit. Yeah, but you guys are all, entrepreneurs. Or but they're supposed to say that, Laura. They're working on your team. They're just, trying to. No, I promise you, if you engage in relational networking, it'll be a difference maker for you. It will get you off that island of alone. It is your life raft off, and you might make a connection that you would be surprised about. So there you go. So
we're genuine. Here we are. We're genuine. Genuine right here.
Oh, there you go. There's genuine.
I could not have prepared that any better. That's awesome. I love that.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So much. And that's the point. You create a safe space for that to happen. It's not the right space. You're not going to get productivity. You're not going to get the opportunities. You're not going to get the promotions. You're not going to get the sales, or whatever the thing is you're looking for. You're not going to get the upskilling that you're looking for if you don't create that safe space. It's just, it's not going to happen. So I encourage everybody to try relational networking, engage in it. We've got different questions that you can, ask that we've done in different videos, or drop a comment and just say, hey, Laura, this is my situation. What would be a great way to start? let's just have a conversation, and maybe we can help you out. Because in Down and Dirty Networking, our community, which no, you can't join today, actually, even though Meredith was so kind to tell you to. In our members, it's all curated. And we do the heavy lifting for you, and we curate the conversation. And the way that we curate it is a way that you can then take that and use in your day, to where you're like, oh my gosh, this totally raised my vibrational energy, solved a solution, or whatever the situation is, but it will always raise your vibrational energy. Let me try this over here. Let me try this with my kids, my coworkers, my friends, and it works. So I thank you guys for engaging in this conversation today. I think it's really important. And I know we're playing in this safe space. So any last words for our audience, other than everybody needs to know Charlie and make sure that they're friending him, because that was awesome. I just love that so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll talk about that. The other part of the authentic was I told him I was like going to make dinner earlier and I didn't finish. So he just came in and like grabbed a whole bag of apples and took it with him. I'm like, okay, that's your dinner. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so oh no, my last word, the only thing is just it spurred when you were talking was that don't assume what relational networking is. I know we're trying to explain it, but you really can't know what it is until you experience it. So don't make any assumptions. Come to the next sneak peek. I mean, the Conversations and Connections event. Sorry, we rebranded. Come to the next one. And when is it? Next month?
October 16th will be the next one. We have not opened registration. We haven't announced it, but it is Meredith's right. You have to experience it. And no matter how many different ways we explain it, you'll have possibly the same response that Meredith did that every other guest. They're like, Laura, you told me to experience something different. This is way different. And I think the response that I love from someone, the most recent attendee, was like, Laura, you've totally ruined networking for me. I've been to other groups and I'm like, no. And I said, well, we're not a group or community, and we're totally different. We're not transactional. There's a time and a space for transactional networking. But we are none of that. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Like the lady who does that on YouTube, she goes, "This ain't that."
I haven't seen that. I need to go check that out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you have to find her videos. They're so funny. She's talking about like how, her kids, like, you're not going to tell me at 11:59 that you need all this laundry done by the next day for your game. She's like, this ain't that. So that is our new tagline. This ain't that.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You should put that on our Trello board, and maybe those are the next topics of discussion.
Oh my gosh.
For team events. Maybe we should make some Down and Dirty networking reels kind of off of that. That could be hilarious.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, you guys just witnessed what one of our meetings, our parties would actually look like, where ideas come from the random. You never know when you're having a conversation where genius will spark. And so we'll be talking about that. It's true. Meg, what would you say? What would be your last thought that you'd like to leave with everybody?
I hope you have a little bit better idea of relational networking, but I would encourage y'all, even drop a question here in the comments here. Look for our other postings, look for our newsletters, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like buy my stuff, but really that's where you can start a conversation. Meredith writes fantastic articles, and they are great conversation starters, or, ask questions about something. I love the way that things are positioned with this group, that it's, let's have a conversation about whatever it is. What's bothering you? What can we help you with? That's what we're about. That's what the relational networking is about.
Oh, I love that. You guys are so amazing and awesome. Thank you guys for your vulnerability. Thank you for your energy and your time. Thank you for your authenticity and your generosity and genuineness. I think if we lead with this, and we can, maybe whoever's watching, you're thinking must be nice. It is, and it can be for you. And it's really a quick switch. And Meg's right. Just connect with us. Drop a message if you feel more comfortable dropping a message on the Down and Dirty Networking LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook page. One of us is probably going to be the ones that will be responding. And as you move forward and you see articles that are dropping tomorrow, or whatever the content that you see, I've actually asked Meg and Meredith to step behind the scenes, which is why we're doing this video. So if you've stayed with us till the end, you're witnessing the coming out party, as it were. And so I've asked them to sign the things that they work on, even if they're writing something that is my words and they're repurposing it, I still want them to get credit for the work that they're doing and gain some confidence being more front and center and less behind the scenes. I think the work needs to be showcased. And so the next lesson, the next thing that I'm working on is giving them that showcase so you can help them by liking and engaging on the comment. And just, hey, good job. I saw that. Congratulations. Because this is where they're practicing their skills. And we're creating that safe space to play. And it's a safe space for you to engage with us as well. We promise it's not going to be a constant pitch slap. We don't do that. We don't. You can only join our community 4 times a year. That's it. And there are certain requirements. You will never, ever, ever see us post on social and say, our community, you can join now. You'll never see it. There are certain requirements that you have to have. We're very, very intentional about who's in our community. We want to be a fit for you and you a fit for us, and make sure you truly understand what relational networking is all about. So when we say we're putting content out there for you guys to engage in, don't feel like you're going to get sold afterward, to put it bluntly, because there's nothing for us to sell you. That's not our business model. And that was by design. So I hope you recognize it is a safe space to engage with relational networking with myself, with Meg, with Meredith, or maybe any one of our other members, depending on what the situation is. And we might need to connect you to help you get your answer that you're looking for. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put you back in the wonderful green room while I wrap up. So thank you guys so much. Awesome. Let's see if I can do it and not fat finger myself. Let's see how I do. I did it. Okay. So thanks to Meredith and Meg. You guys hang out in the green room for me and enjoy the fat-free snacks because they're, calorie-free. And for those watching, thank you. Thank you so very much for being here and for allowing me to showcase 2 people that I love and adore, Meredith and Meg, and see the raw, real transparency of how relational networking can create deeper connections, get you off that island of alone, and really help you formalize meaningfulness. Not superficialness, but meaningfulness in your life. When you gain that, that's where things become fun. They become purposeful, and the sky's the limit. Ideas start flowing. Look, you witnessed ideas in real time happen. So stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to make that happen. And stay tuned for more. In October, we've got a lot planned. The team, all of us, the Tactical Team Trio, we are working on World Online Networking Month. So if you want to know more about that, reach out to us. You're the first to know. We'll let you know how you can participate and what this all means. And this can be a great way for you to practice relational networking. All right. Give us a thumbs up, comment. I can't wait to see your replies. Make sure you are following the Down and Dirty Networking LinkedIn and Facebook page for all those articles and resources that Meg and Meredith are creating. And if you want more tips now, I encourage you to make sure that you subscribe to our Down and Dirty Networking YouTube channel. That's where we have curated playlists of different topics of networking. You can even find the live replay there on YouTube, or maybe you're already watching. So this has different topics for whether you're an introvert, you're a student, whatever your situation may be, is how to have things be more meaningful and more stress-free like they are in our Down and Dirty Networking online community. So make sure to check out that YouTube channel and stay tuned. Every Wednesday afternoon, we go live for another episode of Networking Know-How. And this is your chance to get a tip from myself, from our audience, from our guests, and sometimes from our audience when they chime in and chat. This is your chance to learn other tips to network more stress-free like we do and leverage it in every aspect of your life. All right. Thanks so much for watching. And until we see each other again next Wednesday, sometime between 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. Central when we go live, happy networking.